All right, those of you that are going to be here, the print journalists, Spanish radio, and a few others, we're going to take a survey. Peshek, Swerneman, all y'all. What do you think about these digs over here built specially for you? Everybody okay? All right. We are so happy to hear that. And let me tell you why. A whole bunch of this stadium was built around making sure you folks were happy. Swerneman, I want to explain this little story to you. When the stadium first came over from the university, or from Dr. Lofton, it was 92.5, but the regents and others wanted to change that to bigger. But one of the problems with it was, or it seemed to us, was that that side over there was way higher than this side over here. And so we went to Earl Santee and said, Earl, is there anything that you would recommend to the regents that you would change about this stadium? And he said, yeah, I would change. I would make that side the same size as this side, put canopies on both, and there was only a canopy on one. It looked cattywampus. And so in order to do that, you had to move some of the press from that side to this side. And when that decision was made to move some of the press over here, the decision was also made by the regents and others, we're going to have absolutely the best quarters on the east side that the press has ever seen in the state of Texas. And we believe that this is better than Cowboy Stadium. We believe it's better than Reliant Stadium. We think it's the best that exists in the state of Texas. And because of you and our concern for you and what you may write, we have a stadium that is even on both sides and then went from 92.5 to 102.5. Of course, we've had 110,000 people in this stadium in the past. And so to the print journalists that this is going to be your home, thank you for inadvertently making this stadium look great. We appreciate it. You're going to be sitting right on top of the 12th man. Experience hear and feel the passion of Aggies. Don't anticipate the press box moving during the war hymn like the old one did. Ain't going to move this time, this side or that side. Increased space and key for pregame meals and workspace. This level includes radio, game operations, replay, PA, stats, as well as suites for head coach, athletic director, visiting AD, and multimedia rights holders. Dedicated radio booths for home and away games for Spanish radio, as well as national radio. Spanish radio is no longer on the camera deck. They'll have their own booth like everybody else. I want to go through a few milestones before I turn it over to these folks. The completed milestones, the west side implosion, of course, was December 21st. The foundations and pier drilling started on December 26th. Implosion debris removal was complete by January 30th, about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Structural steel installation complete February 3rd. Architectural precast starts March 16th. West side canopy structural steel starts April 22nd. Pending milestones all the way to the end are these. Energized permanent power May 15th. All the juice is turned on then. Air conditioned totally June 15th. Playing field installation start will be July 1st. West side canopy complete July 15th. Vertical circulation complex August 15th. In case you want to know what vertical circulation is, that'd be escalators and elevators, okay? I don't know why I didn't say elevators and escalators, finished August 15th. And then game day grand opening of Kyle Field will be September the 12th. And there's been a committee appointed by the university. I think Dr. Bowman and President Hussey have done that, and that committee will put together the events of the day before the game. Got a few facts for you. The man hours that have been worked so far are 2.51 million. They have had 2 days off, and that is Christmas last year and Christmas year before last. Debris removed, 6,500 semi-truckloads at the end of this. Structural steel will consist of 29.6 million pounds. Concrete slab poured will be 992,480 square feet. The number of bricks are 2,112,750. You notice that 112,000. Foundation piers drilled 1,650. 63,000 square feet of glass, 9,600 gallons of paint, 1,364 doors, 1,255 televisions, and electrical wire is 4,482,000 linear feet. So those are a few statistics of what is and what will happen with regard to Kyle Field. It is, according to Philip Ray, on schedule, a little bit ahead from what we get in some private conversations. Despite the rainfall, these folks were plowing right ahead. We couldn't be happier with the performance of our partners. So first, I'd like to introduce Craig Kaufman, who's the principal of Populous, and let Craig talk a little bit about where they are.
Thank you, Chancellor. I wanted to start by just reiterating what Chancellor Sharp mentioned at the beginning. You know, we were blessed to work on these facilities all over the country, all over the world for that matter. And what we do is we help design, or we design, but really you guys design. I mean, Aggies design. This is the Aggies stadium. It's not our stadium. And the Chancellor's office, as well as the President's office and facilities, and a lot of people, athletics particularly, have participated in the design of the stadium to really make it your home. And we really appreciate all the help, and the Chancellor is very correct. And when he came to Earl and asked, what can we do to make this facility better? That was one of the first things that Earl came up with, and it was certainly one of the best decisions, I think, that the Chancellor has made on the project. And I think it's something that's going to live out and be very good for the university and the stadium. You know, one of the most obvious things that's going on with the stadium to everyone, really, is the outside of the building. And it was important to us because when we first came to the stadium to review it and take a look at it and come up with what we think should be done to the stadium, it was really three separate buildings. You had the zone, you had this side over here, and then you had the west side building. And they all looked a little different. They all had different materials. On the inside, they weren't really connected together very well. And it was really kind of three stadiums in one shape, one space. And now, when we get done with phase two, it's really going to be a stadium, one stadium, unified together, balanced on both sides, like Chancellor Sharp mentioned. And it's really going to, on the outside, it's going to feel the same, and on the inside, it's going to have circulation all the way around on two different levels. And it's with the closed-in south end zone, you get that strong home court feel or home field advantage. And it's really something that we're very pleased that we were able to participate in to get it done for you. Chancellor Sharp also mentioned this press box, and he thinks it may be one of the best in Texas. I can honestly say, of all the sports facilities we've worked on, this is one of the best in the country, both not just collegiate, but also professional. Many of the trends in professional sports is to put them in the end zone or put them in the corner, and they didn't want to do that here, which is a good decision. And you guys got a great view looking down on the field. Additionally, for television, it's been enhanced for next year too in a couple different ways. The TV cameras are down lower in the seating, so the games are going to be better on TV. The camera angles will be what's optimally desired by the networks. The sports lights are going to be brand new sports lights on both sides. They're going to be high intensity lights, but low energy lights, so it's going to be saving money, and it's also going to be able to bring the game better onto HD TV, and so that will be better as well. And of course, the building itself, one of the primary goals is to attract good recruits, and I think that it certainly will do that when it gets completed as well. There's a number of spaces and things like that you'll learn about in the future that's going to be in phase two over on the west side, and I think everyone will be very impressed and very pleased. Some of them you see up here on the renderings from some of the suites, some of the suite clubs. The image in the middle is what we call the Hall of Champions, which is going to celebrate all sports, all Aggie sports. It's going to have interactive displays, and it's going to have video boards to use for other events. And that's going to be one of the key elements, I think, of phase two that's really going to be popular and open to the public so everyone can go through and take a look at it. And then you see some of the other elements in phase two that you'll learn about as we go farther into construction. But again, we're very pleased to be a part of this team, and thank you for your cooperation in helping it make a great stadium. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Greg McClure with Manhattan-Vaughn, our principal partner, doing a great job. Greg McClure.
As I've done in the past, I'll just kind of go through a few of the things that we've accomplished and will be accomplishing here over the next few months, if you will. As Chancellor Sharp said, kind of the last time we were all gathered here was a big event where we imploded the west side. putting that down on December 21st. 1 week later, or not even quite a week later, we were already putting in foundations. We had all the debris and the rubble moved away and started the steel erection by February 1, and 30 days, and actually we were a little bit ahead of that with some of the foundations, and we got ourselves out in front with those foundations, which was key to our erection out there. As you can tell, we are up to the upper concourse now with the structural steel erection over there. Decks are coming up underneath them. We're kind of working our way from south to north with the structure. Over the next few weeks and months, you'll begin to see the cluster columns. That's what you see kind of here behind us and right here in front of you. That's part of the cluster column structure. You'll start seeing something like that over on the other side over there. 3 of them, I believe, are already fabricated and set it on the ground. And they'll begin erecting the first one this next week and have it flying in the air. So you'll start seeing the top out of the structure as we move forward. The upper deck seating structure will fall in right in behind that. Once again, working from the south to the north. Precast seating risers will go in place. And by let's just say the end of May, the entire seating structure over on the west, over on that side, will be completely in place. So you'll see the bones of the stadium, if you will, from what you'll always see from the outside. You'll be able to see that. As we have begun moving south to north, we have already started finishes down on the south end on the lower side. Actually, the first 2 levels, we already have block going in, CMU block. We have drywall partitions going in, some early tape and bedding and painting. All of our systems are going in place. As Chancellor Sharp said, we're going to have permanent power here in a few weeks. Then we have air coming on in the early summer. So that we can begin to put in some extremely high-end finishes. Craig noted, we have some very nice suites over there. The Hall of Champions is actually, they're set to pour the last slab on grade over there by the early part of next week. And that space, if you go look at it today, you can really begin to see the enclosure of that space. It's going to be something that is unique, I can tell you. It's huge. That picture does not give it justice for how large it is. And the finishes and the interactivity of all of the other sports other than just football are going to be really neat for people to go and enjoy and visit. As we move up through the stadium, obviously we have a few more levels of suites. And then another 2 clubs up on the 400 level, or the kind of the top level of the suites. Those will begin, like I said, they're starting now. The early club levels will kind of start with early May, start on those drywall finishes and start putting in our framing and whatnot and all of the systems. The upper club levels will be kind of really started by like early June with our finishes. The upper concourse, kind of late June, we will have your CMU block and stuff going in for our toilets and restrooms and concessions up on that top level, 600 level. The system startup, as Chancellor Sharp stated, will be kind of nearing completion by early June to mid-June. Field install, I know everybody always wants to watch this one. The cranes that you see out there will be removed over the next month and a half. One of them will actually be kind of moving away in the next week. It'll move to the outside, actually. The other one will stay inside, and he will be off that field by early June, late May, actually. At that moment, we'll begin to remove all of the working surface we have down there on the field and begin to put in our sands and our drainage and all of that to build up the structure of the field and start laying grass in, let's just say, in July-ish, somewhere in that frame. Grass install, like I said, mid-July. And then as we finish all this, the exterior skin will be in place, and we will move our way west right to Welborn and work our way right out of the building and be ready for game day. So other than that, we've had a great few months, and we'll continue to push forward and finish this thing. Thank you.
If I can introduce a few people that are here. First guy in charge of this project, Philip Ray, and Russ Wallace is back here somewhere. And my wife, Charlotte, who is right here. Sorry, Charlotte, thank you for coming. And now, in the next, there are 2 sets of emails, as we mentioned before, that we get every Monday morning. I'm sure the president gets the same ones I get. One of them is about the lack of women's restrooms. I promise you that problem is solved. There is lots of women's restrooms in this stadium, and going to be, I think, 60% more than you have had before or something. 300% more. Those emails not going to happen. Brother Bowman, you're going to be in good shape. The second one has to do with cell phones working. And we think we have a solution here that does not exist on any college campus. 49ers, I think, are the only ones that have anything close to this. There are also, this system we think is going to be put in some professional stadiums, but we'll have it before anybody else does. And so Todd Christner, who's the Director of Wireless Business Development with IBM Corning, is going to talk a little bit about what will be the best system it should be able to handle. 100,000 calls simultaneously, and I'll get no more emails, so you come up here.
Thank you, Chancellor Sharp. No pressure. Thank you very much. IBM Corning we are very happy to be a part of this project, and Texas A&M is leading the way. So what we've done here in partnership with Manhattan-Vaughn, with Texas A&M, with Populous, is something that's leading edge. What's being installed here has not been installed at any other venue like this before. What's interesting is it's only halfway installed. In fact, I'd probably say it's only a third of the way installed by last year's standards for Game 1 and through the season. Yet it's already made a mark within the industry. So organizations, several NFL teams are now coming to this stadium and looking at what you guys are doing. The carriers with whom we partner with frequently, Corning's installed over 50 DAS solutions, distributed antenna solutions around the country in large public venues like this. And the carriers that we work with were impressed. They were, quite honestly, a little skeptical at the beginning when we started to negotiate with them and talk to them about what we were going to be doing. And when we had the 110,663 fans that showed up for the Ole Miss game, the phone call we got after that, and we were watching all the statistics that are happening. Mind you, we only had the Corning system installed in half the stadium. The other half was the old side of the stadium. And the best I can give you is, all I'm allowed to say is, we had green lights across the board. So did we have the call performance that we wanted to have within that stadium? Well, no, because we only had half the system installed. We were bleeding over into the old part of the stadium and feeding service over there. What we will be able to do come next year is support 100,000 concurrent Wi-Fi connected users, which will take a huge load of texting and data off of that cellular network that's going to happen, which allows you to have the phone calls and texting go out. We have fiber out to the edge. There's a couple of benefits with our system that will enhance the fan experience. One is that the cell phones, I don't know if you notice when you're in the stadium and you're in other venues, your battery life decreases. The reason why your battery life decreases is because it's working really hard to communicate with that antenna that's a long ways away. The system that you guys have installed here has a lot more antennas in here. We actually have 1,090 antennas within this stadium, or will when we're done, which means your cell phone is much closer, making the battery life while you're here much greater. So if you show up with a full battery, it's going to last the whole game, right? Because you're going to have less power usage to do that communication. You're also going to get 1.5 to 2 megs of steady throughput up and down on the Wi-Fi system. That's 100,000 concurrent users that could get on and have an egress route virtually out of the stadium that's going to be there. Last year, when we started to analyze the data that was going on, we had the Wi-Fi on in the back of the house, meaning not in the bowl areas, but in the concourse areas, and all of the IPTV systems which are on here today. We also have some instructions, which you guys can get if you would like to play with the system that we have a little bit. You're able to log on. The TVs are on. You can download the app. These instructions will show you where to go in iTunes or Android. Download the app, and you'll be able to log on to that app and change the channel, turn the volume up and down, turn the TVs off and on, interact with the TVs. You can do that from your smartphone. Last year, from all of the suites, we were able to do that. When it comes time for next year, when the stadium's fully implemented, the system's fully implemented, you'll be able to do that from anywhere within the stadium, so long as Texas A&M decides that the area that you're in, they want you to be able to change the channels. So you can control all that. We can also set the channel lineups. So if you want one suite to have a certain channel lineup and another suite to have another channel lineup, we can do that as well. We can also remotely do all that stuff. The Wi-Fi, the DAS, fiber to the edge, it is state of the art. You guys are leading the way. You guys are now ahead of every other venue that we're involved with within the country, actually around the globe that we deal with today. So we are very honored that Texas A&M chose this technology, great partner to work with, and somebody who, as we continue to bring new ideas to the table, new ways to make it better, they look at those ideas and say, yes, that's where we want to head, and we'd like to continue to push the envelope to make the experience for the fans that are here the best in the industry. So, and we're happy to be a part of that. Thank you very much, Chancellor.
Tim Lomax is the regional engineer for the Texas Transportation Institute, and Tim is going to talk a little bit about traffic and parking at Caulfield.
Thank you. Rain means go. Traffic engineering term. We've had a bunch of change in the parking, traffic, transportation plan between 13 and 14. We're not going to have as much change from 14 to 15, but there are a few elements to make you aware of. Number one, and most appreciatively to the Chancellor, who has given us $1 million to help boost the traffic signals, the cameras, all of the awareness and communication and control information that we have. He's given us $1 million. We're giving that to the City of College Station to amplify the work that they've already started. You'll begin to see that occur between the spring semester and the summer. They're going to switch out every single controller in town. This will give us not only much better flexibility in terms of how we manage the signal system, but also a lot better communication. Todd and his folks set up a command center down here underneath the stadium. Having all that information in one place allows the traffic, the law enforcement, the game operations people to all be centrally housed and aware of what each other are doing, so that in the case that we have problems or traffic starts to get out of hand in one area, we're able to rapidly adjust to that. So that's number one. The Chancellor's given us $1 million, and we greatly appreciate that. Number two, Don Adams stepped up and allowed us to create a park and ride lot out at his bank, American Momentum Bank. We'll have a little bit more than 1,000 spaces out there. We're going to run the same kind of bus service that we did to the mall. Rapid, dependable. It's going to haul a lot of people. It's not going to haul as many people as we were parking at the mall, but it'll still be a very good operation. We're looking for a couple more park and ride lots around the community that we might be able to use. Third thing, I talked about the Kyle Command Center. One of the things that's going to happen there is in the process of the City of College Station upgrading their signals, they're going to have cameras at a whole bunch of different locations around College Station. So we'll be able to see when we have a traffic tie-up, a crash, a stalled vehicle, as we had with the Ole Miss game. So we're going to be able to respond much more rapidly. Part of that response is going to involve the buses. The transportation services at A&M now has 15 more buses to handle the crowds on game day. They're going to have 86 full-time buses. That's going to allow us to not only improve the on-campus shuttle system, but also enhance the park and ride and shuttle bus routes we have out to the student apartment areas as well. So that's sort of our big changes for this year. Thank you very much, Chancellor.
Marty Price is the Regional Vice President of Levy Restaurants, and Marty has with him Dr. Piku, who is the main man of everything having to do with food here, and hope that before you leave here you'll partake in some of the stuff over here.
Thank you, Chancellor. Howdy. Howdy. I'm Marty Price. I'm the Regional Vice President of Operations, and I have the pleasure to introduce our Director of Operations and our Executive Chef, who are both the stars of the show, who are entrenched in the community and are going to bring the pride of Aggie food to Kyle Field. A 20-year hospitality veteran, P.J. Sadler, our Director of Operations, as well as our Executive Chef, or Dr. Piku. P.J.?
I ought to say howdy as well. I'm new back to A&M. I've been here just a few weeks now, so saying howdy's fun, right? Nobody looks at me funny like I'm crazy walking down the street. So it's been great to be back. This is an incredible project to be part of. With it, I think we're bringing some incredible food and some hospitality that is just kind of next level here. There's not a whole lot for me to talk about because Chef Piku does it all, so I will let him explain what we did today. We're showing a little bit of the food that we're going to offer in the suites this year.
Thank you, PJ. Howdy.
Howdy.
How's everybody today? Good. Glad to see everybody. I know you're hungry. I know we're here, and we're real close to dinner time. So a couple things. We're having an offering today of some of the items that we're going to have in our suites, and then in some of our legacy and founder suites. So you're getting to see a little bit of extra special stuff today. One of the things that we're striving for with this menu today is, and in the future, is to be able to use locally sourced products. So a lot of Texas grown items. So today we're looking at our fruit jars over here are made with Texas melons. We tried to make sure that we got all of that product specifically from Texas. So it's all locally sourced. We're also partnering with 44 Farms, which is right up the road. So we're using brisket today from 44 Farms. We're also going to be using some tenderloin, hopefully, in the future. The short ribs are also from 44 farms. That's something that we're trying to source local. And we're also doing some stuff with some local artisan breads and cheeses. So we'll get cheesemongers from South Texas and North Texas that we're going to be bringing in here. So we're going to have some stuff like that, too. We're really excited about the new additions over here with the new kitchens that we're going to have. Great staffing, great people, a lot of fun. I think it's all the way up and out from here on. Everybody, please jump in. Let's go get some food.
Okay. Any questions for all of these folks? Philip Ray, you come up here, and Philip has done a wonderful job of overseeing this project. Sometimes too wonderful, I bet you guys say, right? But any questions of Philip or anybody here, fire away.